You're traveling to an outer dimension, a dimension of data-driven instruction, where teachers don't just teach with intensity like Chuck Norris and assume their students understand. They teach with the intensity of Chuck Norris and make sure that their students understand. This is a dimension where every learning objective is tracked and every available resource is bound into daily instruction. This is about to be the cheesiest line ever. This is embarrassing to even say. This is the Technology-Centered Instruction Zone.
Hello there, this is Dan Little, and what you just saw was an awesome introduction. I haven't made it yet, but I'm thinking something along the lines of Twilight Zone theme or something, so hopefully it's good. Anyhow, you haven't been transported anywhere fancy, just to my computer at home, and the reason is Amy asked me to show everyone kind of what our 7th grade group is doing with technology in the classroom and how we're using it to have some success that we probably would not otherwise be having. We're going to start off, I've got 2 million files open on my computer, but this first one is a really large one. It is the State of Ohio's academic standards. How fun. And we're in the section that's associated with our 7th grade content standards. So I'm going to zoom in here if I can. There we go. Okay, and you see here is what we have is just a content statement. I'm going to show you one little part that our group selected along with hundreds of others. It says the sun is a major source of energy for wind, air, and ocean currents and the hydrologic cycle. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow that through our entire school year and that concept and all the ways that we make sure we're addressing that one part of our state standard. I'll go ahead and shrink that. And what you're going to see here is 7 different documents. These are 7 units that we've created, and all of them are linked up with different I can statements. For example, I'm going to go ahead and pull this bad boy open for you to see. Here we have I can statement ES, so Earth Science 1.3. This is something we created that we said every student should be able to do this. And you could see where it was based on out of the standards. They need to be able to recognize that the sun is the source of energy that drives the hydrologic cycle. Now, that's just one standard out of all of these standards, but I hope that this will give you some scope as to what we're doing as a department and how much data we're actually going to be able to track. So we're starting there. Obviously, we're going to need to teach the content. So in teaching the content, we have a variety of ways that we're using technology. We've got gizmo activities through the iPads that we're using. This particular day, we had a modeling activity that the kids use for technology. You can see this is the agenda that my students would see every day. Pull it up there. They're grabbing their iPad and they're logging into Edline with their partner. I need to remember to check keywords too. But here you see down here that I can statement, ES 1.3. That's great. I'm going to teach it and I'm going to hope that they get it. And in the past, I would have just ended it right there. I would have hoped that they got it. But now we've got a variety of techniques that we're using to make sure they get it. And most of those involve technology. So I am going to pull up another PowerPoint, mainly because it's a pain to screen capture an iPad when you're on a PC. I don't know how I would do that. It'd be really weird. But I'm going to show you some of the tools via screenshots from a PowerPoint. Okay. So let's just go ahead and look at this. The first thing I'm going to show you is something we call Socrative. It is a student clicker. I'll blow this up here. And Socrative is something that's available for free on the iPads, and we have 16 iPads in our classrooms now, so the students can easily partner up and share this. When they get it, they click on it, they log in with their name, and there we're going to see this question. And this is really my first informal check. These kids don't get a grade for this at all. I just tell them you need to do your best, because if you don't show me you understand it, I'm going to be meeting with you to make sure that you do. And you can see something simple as what provides energy to power the hydrologic cycle. This particular quiz is one that they did in place of a warm-up question that morning. I just said log on to Socrative and take the quiz, and they did. And here I get results on how the kids are doing. You can see this is a concept here. It's all green. Everybody got that. That's great. here's something I need to touch on again. As a teacher, I get instant feedback. Not only do I know which are the big themes that I need to go over with everyone, but I get to know that this student who usually gets everything right is struggling with that one weird concept, and I can give feedback on an individual basis. So, and that's very useful as a teacher to have that before the kids have even taken anything that's affected their grade. At that point, I will direct them to something that we have built. It is an online library, if you will. And we'll pull that back up here. Here you can see how we've created, it almost looks like an application. Really, it's just a link to this online library that we have made. So the kids can click this, and instantly they have their reteaching and all their student documents from this particular unit. This is the Cycles and Spheres unit. They have access to all of the units. But so if they wanted to see what we did in class about that, they could click this link right here and they could totally go do that. If they wanted to get reteaching, which is what's going to happen when they're struggling, all of those documents that are provided are in here. And extension activities, those are just things for kids who want to go above and beyond. But these are the documents that the kids have access to instantly. Here we see we are building a Cycles and Spheres online library. We have an online library for every unit that we have at this point. And that is huge for us. To be able to have resources for every single I can statement. We're currently in the process of making MMS instructor videos for every single I can statement, basically reteaching the main point that those kids have so that they can access that at home, so the parents can know immediately what they're not getting, and that way we're able to address individual needs on an individual basis. So we click that, and here's the online library. You can see these are the videos. We're building these up right now, but if they click this, it's actually totally custom designed for what we want the kids to know. They're all made by MMS instructors, and we also got a lot of online resources that we're building up as we go along too. So that's very good. The other application that we're using on the iPads is our GradeCam. GradeCam is a incredibly useful tool, and if we look at our assessments, I'm going to back out of this show or this slideshow now to give you guys a better look at some of our assessments. You can see here in our I Can checklist, we've designed this so that the students are going to be assessed multiple times for every I Can statement. For example, in Formative Assessment 8, the kids are going to have to show us that they understand this concept that we talked about already. Recognize that the sun is the source of energy that drives the hydrologic cycle. So there has to be a question, and if the kids are going to understand that right away, great, they've got it. If not, they get a minus, and they have to go back and prove to us that they're going to do that. And we have a variety of ways that we have them do that. Those are not as technology oriented yet, but the reteaching is very technology oriented. Okay, for this little walkthrough here, we're going to be looking at how sunlight and temperature can affect many nights, hoping that the sun would rise to give me energy enough so I could head up to the sky and then snap. So the kids will reteach, and then by the time we get to the summative assessment, those kids need to be able to prove that they grasp the concept. I just want to show you real fast. Here's our Formative Assessment 8. And you can see, if I blow this up a little bit, that Formative Assessment 8, that question, what is the driving force behind the hydrologic cycle? It's a very easy concept. But this GradeCam ID, the students simply bubble in their student ID, and then we're able to use the iPads when we grade through those assessments to instantly feed data to ourselves. So I'll get data at Formative Assessment 8, and more importantly, I'll be able to tell them instantly, hey, you're struggling with I Can statement ES 1.3. You need to go back with the iPad right now and take a look at that stuff. I will be talking with you at the end of the bell in order to make sure that you can get that, you can show me that you understand where you went wrong with that question. So that's very, very useful to be able to do that with a formative assessment, and all students are required to go back and make corrections on their formative assessments. So every time they make a mistake, they're at least going to have the opportunity to correct that first time. You can see there are some here is another. This is our summative assessment, so this is the second time they're going to be assessed, and this is towards the end of our unit. Similar concept, I can statement 1.3. The kids are going to be assessed on that again, and again we are going to be using GradeCam results to instantly get data and feed that back to us. So I'll go back to this and kind of show you the GradeCam. If you click GradeCam, then it pulls up. Well, I'm showing you the test, but I already showed you the test. My bad. Definitely not restarting this recording at this point, so sorry. But you click GradeCam, and now I've got some data. In this particular unit that we're in, which was the Cycles and Spheres unit, I've got FA8, I've got FA9 data, and I've got summative assessment 4 data. I can get my averages, I can figure out where my weaknesses are, but this is the part that's really huge. We get results based on our standards. So if I click that standards tab, it's going to look like this. And you can see right here ES 1.3. I chose an easy one to make my teaching look amazing. But recognize that the sun is a source of energy. That same thing you've been seeing since we looked at the academic content standards. 100% average, that is where we want that to be for those particular kids. And that's the goal, to get everybody on the same page and to get everybody to the point where they need to be. The really cool thing is we're able to pull up with those individual students. There's a student name here. I hid it because I didn't know if there were any creepers in the room with you guys, but hid the student name. You can see, you're seeing growth. Over this concept before, there was some weakness, but we had growth in that area overall. So that's very huge as a teacher to be able to track that data instantly. Now the last thing I want to show you is really just what we've set up in terms of sharing, because I think the scope of it is pretty immense, and I'm very proud of my department and everything that they're doing, and I would love to see other departments in the district get to this point as well. But you can see our main units, every single one. The one that we were talking about is Cycles and Spheres, and within this, these activities are all for teachers. This is stuff that's not shared with students. These are our teacher resources. You can see we have access to all of our assessments. This is a shared thing. I'm sitting at home right now, able to see every resource that we have. And what's really cool is when you go into the reteaching aspect here, you got critical facts for everything, keywords, and that online library that we continuously build. It's that same way if you go through each different section that we're learning about, every single unit. There are resources built up for those, and I think the direction we're headed in with technology, being able to use it to get instant feedback from our kids, being able to use it to give instant feedback to our kids, it's not only going to make us better teachers, but it's going to help them stay focused on what they're really supposed to be learning, and keep things moving in the right direction. I hope this is enlightening to you and hopefully not too boring. Maybe I'll add some weird sound effects or something to this little bit to make it easier to swallow. But thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions for me about anything I showed you, please email me at littledA@mason.k12.oh.us. Probably don't want to send that to little D. That is my brother. He's an old man. He can't answer too many technology questions. Thank you very much. Have a great day.